Hey Jaya, welcome to Just Like That.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's in fact such a pleasure that you accepted our invitation because it's a moment of pride, right? I'm talking to someone who's represented our country, and what better than that?
Thank you. Thank you. And I mean, yes, I was fortunate enough to do that. And right now, also, I'm trying to do that in different ways. And I think on this chat show today, we can discuss more about it and let people know what I'm doing.
Absolutely great. So as we get to know more of what you're doing currently, tell us about how does it feel being on the 22 yards?
I mean, I can just say it's the best feeling in the world. Nothing can replace it. You know, as a cricketer, when you have that sweet sound out of your bat playing a stroke, it when you sleep also, it's there in your ear. So nothing can replace that feeling, and it's always a pleasure. It's because sports is something which really gets the best out of you, and this is something which I looked forward to in my life, and playing for the country, and it's an honor that I have got a chance. So it was really good, nice experience.
Correct. So, Jay, what's very interesting about sports is that the audience only sees the master strokes, right?
Sure.
But the amount of hours in the nets, in the practice, is something that's not really seen.
Of course, yeah. I mean, in competitive sports, everything boils down to the performance. You know, people wants to say see the best performances every time, every single time a sportsman goes out on the field. You take an example of Sachin Tendulkar. If Sachin Tendulkar is playing, so everybody wants him to see bat for longer hours, and he wants him to score a century. And that's probably how what makes the sportsman different from
Mhm.
common people, because they have the expectation of many people, and they try to do that in a very different manner, putting up so many hours at practice and facing challenges day in day out. It's not that whenever you play a match you face a challenge. Every time you step up for a preparation, for a practice session, you face challenge, and you every time you have to succeed in that. So it's very interesting kind of a thing that you have to put in a lot of effort behind you. So the fans that they see the performance, there is a lot behind it.
Correct. So, Jay, tell us a little bit about a pressure situation, right? Because there is competence, there is talent. Of course, that's the reason why you're on the team. But not every day could be a Friday. And
Of course.
therefore, let's say finishing over 6 balls to go, 20 runs needed. The audience is right there cheering and shouting your name, and the entire euphoria in the stadium.
Yeah.
How does that really feel?
So it's basically that you have to understand, to get an outcome you have to focus on a process. You can't focus on that outcome, and if you focus on that outcome you will feel pressure. And that is
Okay.
something which that is the difference between the great and legend. You know,
Hmm.
there are great players and there are legends of the game. So that is
Hmm.
something which makes you a legend. When you Why we talk about MS Dhoni, why we talk that he has a nerves of steel, it's nothing. He simplifies the process, and he focuses on the process, that for him to get 20 runs in 6 balls, it's achievable, but he needs to focus on the ball, not the outcome. So it's
Fantastic.
very simplified.
So it's very simple. What you're trying to say is whether pressure, no pressure, understand the process,
That's right.
focus on the process, and the process, if done well, will
Yeah,
guaranteed outcomes.
that's what I'm trying to tell. And not just in sports, but if you have a recipe, the dish will be same every single time if you
Hmm.
put the ingredients right. So
Yeah.
it's for every endeavor of life.
Correct, correct, correct. But like you very beautifully said, whether it's a recipe or it's a process in sports, Um, you may have an SOP, right? A standard operating process or a
Right.
procedure to go about doing it.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, is there an element of luck to say, oh, today I was in a good mood, I went to the kitchen and I put the same ingredients, the same quantity, but it tasted very nice. Whereas on another day, अरे यार मजा नहीं आया खा के ठीक है तूने अच्छा बनाया है but खा के मजा नहीं आया. And the similar when Jaya gets onto the pitch, she may score 100 runs, right? And you scored the highest 138 that you mentioned to me. But the point is, maybe she scored a 50 or scored 100, but maza nahi aaya. And some days, that last ball, that last over, that absolutely needed run,
Of
and
course.
Jaya walks back with that sense of pride to say, "Aaj pata hai, khel ke na Sahil, bahut maza aaya." So what's that difference?
Definitely, Sahil. I mean, you have put in a very, very important question because some बहुत बार ऐसा हुआ है that you come across a situation where you have scored a century, but still you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel that pleasure inside you. And when sometimes you get out on 40s, but you have fought hard for that inning, it gives you immense satisfaction, gratification. So, but it's again, it depends upon what questions you are asking to yourself, you know, whether what kind of a role you are performing on that particular day, what kind of a opponent you were facing, and how you were feeling inside of you, which state you were in, your mind, which state your mind was in. So when you talk about the recipe that आज तो सब कुछ डाला पर आज मजा नहीं आया, so that is something which comes from inside, that you yourself is not in a very good state of mind, so that's why you don't feel the way you feel. So that's the
I
difference.
think correct. I think Jay, you made a very beautiful point, which also gets me to think that while cricket is a team sport,
Yeah.
there is also you playing an individual sport. So if you're a
Yeah.
batsman, you're a bowler, you're a fielder on the ground,
Yeah.
you want to get your 100, you want to get your 50, you want to take so many wickets in that over, or you want a hat trick, right?
Right.
So there is this whole concept of playing your individual game and beating your own records.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there is playing for the country.
Yeah.
So just imagine you may have scored 100, but if the team has lost, you're not going to feel nice about it.
Yeah, of
At the
course.
same time, you may score a 40, but those 40 runs may be so crucial, and you may have
Yeah.
missed your 50 by maybe 4 or 5 runs, but the team
Yes.
has won
Yes.
because of your beautiful knock,
Of course.
and that's brilliant, right?
That's the difference. That's the beauty of it. That's with the team sports comes the factor of contribution. You know, contribution beyond yourself. So that's the beauty of playing in a team environment, because you have to think beyond yourself. You have to think about a purpose, about a greater vision. So that teaches you a lot.
Sure, sure. So Jay, tell us the most interesting part about cricket, and maybe that's an angle where I lost touch with cricket to an extent because in the 1990s when we had India-Pakistan matches or others, it was like religion, right? Cricket is like religion in our country.
That's true.
But I somewhere had a certain disconnect with this whole concept of match fixing. And I said, oh my God, we always thought sitting, as viewers, either in the stadium or on the screen, that whatever we're seeing is for real. But when we got to know about the whole scandals and a lot of players got named, of course, we won't get into names here because that's not the intent.
Yeah.
But the whole concept of match fixing, how does that really impact the spirit of sportsmanship?
So, to put things in perspective here, I would like to state my own feeling. I don't watch matches. I mean, after playing for 25 years, I don't sit and watch match. So I can't say much beyond this. So it's basically, it's, yes, as you rightly mentioned, it's the disconnect that you feel, that
Hmm.
you comprehend something and something else is happening. So that is something very disturbing for a sportsman and the spirit of the game. Because what is a sport? Sport is basically a challenge accepted by your opponent. So if that challenge is diluted, then there is no fun in accepting that challenge, and knowing that something is going to happen, and that's how it happens. Sport is everything about uncertainty, and encountering different situation, and come overcoming those situations. So
Yeah.
when these type of things happen, you dilute the main essence of it.
No,
So
very true.
it's
Because
very different.
today, yeah, very, very true, Jay. Because today, one ball you may get hit for a six, and right back on the next ball you may take a wicket, right?
Yeah.
Which is the whole uncertainty that you
Yes,
spoke about.
that's right. That's right.
Hmm. Hmm. So, but tell me, like we saw in Chak De, that Shah Rukh Khan would really coach the players to go and watch matches of opponents to see how do their players play. And you said you don't really view matches, right? But do you also do that as part of the process that you spoke about when you mastered the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about, I was talking about that I don't see matches right now after this,
Okay.
what happened, for in certain past time. Uh, but yes, when you are in the system, you have to follow the process. You have to, if you want to master the game, unless uh, you don't read the opponent, you will not get to know what you have to prepare for. So you have to prepare for something. So you need to have that vision. So once you see what you want to prepare for, then only you will be prepared for it better.
Correct. And Jaya, as we conclude this beautiful conversation, and maybe just one line for the road, there are thousands, hundreds, lakhs of people who go into their gullies to play cricket. There are many who go into Shivaji Park in Mumbai to learn cricket. There are many others who go to large places and stadiums and
Yeah,
open grounds in their
yeah.
villages to really learn the game, to practice the game, all of that. What is your one message to them? Because see, today there's just one Sachin Tendulkar, there's one Dhoni, there's one Jaya Sharma, correct? How
Right.
do we create, and I know there are a lot of players who started academies, so on and so forth, but how do we create more Sachins in the world, more Dhonis in the world, more Virat Kohlis in the world, and more Jaya Sharmas in the world? And more importantly, while we've heard of Sachin and Dhoni and all of that, I would like to focus on you, Jaya. How do we create more Jayas in the world? How do we create more women cricketers in a world to break that stereotype that
Yeah.
it is only a game for men?
So, Sahil, very bluntly, let me put it this way, that unless until players like us, we don't work on the grassroots, if we don't become the brand ambassadors ourselves, this situation won't get better. It will not become better, because you have to have connect to produce those players. if
Mm,
if if because this sector is very unorganized. If you are talking about academies, it's a very unorganized sector. So people have opened academies, and they are just bothered about the numbers, the number of
mm,
players that they have. A coach has been put, and one coach, there under one coach there are 30, 40, 50 children playing. So how can you, if someone is talented, or even not so, someone is not so talented. I would like to talk about Rahul Dravid here. Limited talent, but just see what he's gone to achieve for the country. So you have to have connect, and you have to have vision and passion for the game. Yes, it is a business, no doubt. It's been commercialized to a too much extent, but again, that what the intention behind it, what I'm doing right now is, what I have suffered, I would not like the younger generation to suffer. And for that matter, I am trying to contribute on a grassroots level, so that we will have more Mitali Raj, more Julan Goswamis, more Anjum Chopras, to fill the gap and fill those boots as soon as possible.
fantastic, Jaya. I really loved the way you were just so blunt, just so direct, and more importantly, candid, because just like that is all about candid conversations with minds on things that matter.
Right.
Thank you so much, Jaya, for joining us on
Pleasure.
Just Like That.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.